Hey y'all, welcome to Little Bucket Fishing. I'm Nick, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over 2 ways that I make shark rigs. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. If it does, let me know in the comments or whatever. Give me a thumbs up. If you do like my content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start with these rigs. So a couple of things you guys are gonna need. We're gonna start with the first one I'm gonna show you is gonna be for the bigger sharks. The second one's gonna be for the smaller sharks, or at least fishing up close to the shore, casting distance. I use 400-pound mono. I usually measure about 8 feet of this, a 400-pound mono. I've already crimped one of these guys on. This is a 600-pound swivel, and then I just crimped it here. And then for this setup, I'm going to be using an 11-aught circle hook. And then I don't know what these are exactly called, but I do like them because they stick in the sand. This is a 6-ounce weight that we're going to be tying on. And then here is a 600-pound braid that I picked up, and I usually use about 4 feet of this. So I usually ended up having 12 to 13 feet of I guess leader. And the reason I use 4 feet of this is because a lot of times the shark's gonna pick up your bait and then it's gonna swallow it, and then you're still gonna have teeth on 3 feet of line or whatever, depending on how big the shark is. So I like to run about 4 feet of that. And then the reason I run 8 feet of mono is because it was pointed out to me that the reason I've broken off a couple times and lost everything is because the shark's tail kept hitting my braid. And I run about 130-pound braid, but the shark's tail would keep hitting the braid and it would cut through, and that's why I lost it. So running a thicker mono on your leader will help you with that. So let's go ahead. I'll start with the mono here. I already went ahead and I crimped this on, so this is going to be where my line from my pole connects to, and then come down to the other end, and we'll take another one of our swivels here. Actually, we're going to need one of our little crimp fitting things here. It's gonna come through like that there, and then we'll crimp it. Grab our handy dandy crimpers. Just make sure you get it nice and crimped in there, and then I'll bench test this before I use it. All right. So we got both ends of our mono here all crimped up, ready to go. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna measure 4 feet of my braid out. And actually, I went ahead and I did measure 5 feet of this. So, all right, so we got 5 feet of our line here. I'm gonna go ahead and connect it here. So first thing you wanna do, you wanna take your crimp, slide it on there, and get your weight in here. Or take our mono crimped swivel, put it on there, and then just loop it back through here. All right, so now we're ready to crimp our crimp here. All right. So now we got our mono crimped to our 600-pound wire, and we got our sinker attached, so it's all one nice big bundle. Alright, so now we're ready to put the hook on. I do use an 11-aught hook, at least on this setup I'm going to. I like a little bit smaller baits sometimes, so I'm going to rig up something that's a little bit smaller. I've already got big ones. I've got 15-aught hooks on my other 2 setups that I have. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take our crimp and we're gonna slide it on. We're gonna slide our hook on, slide our wire through our other portion of our crimp. And then we're gonna go ahead and give it a nice little crimp. Give her two, one on each side of the crimp. There's one. And there's two. Oh. And then there's our shark rig number one. So we've got our hook crimped here on about 5 feet of 600-pound braided wire. Coming to another crimp with our, I really don't know what these are called. I can't remember, but they're, you know, they're just a sinker, just a weight to hold your bait down so it can sink into the sand a little bit. And then we've got our swivel here. We got another crimp with our 400-pound mono. Remember that mono is to keep the shark's tail from breaking through, so it doesn't cut you off with its tail. And then another crimp with another 600-pound swivel. And then this is where we'd tie our line from our pole to. And that's it for the first one. All right, y'all, for the next setup, all you need is this wire here. I don't know the name brand, but it is, this is like 105-pound, 115-pound wire. What we'll do here is, you saw it was wrapped up, so I just undid enough line to make one full loop around it, and that's what's gonna give us our length on this one. And I'm gonna start with the swivel first, and the reason I start with the swivel first and do the hook second is because while you're doing this, I'm gonna be doing this is a haywire twist. When I'm twisting, I don't want to be swinging a hook around in my fingers, so we're just gonna take this about that far right there, fold it over, grab it with our pliers here. Now I'm grabbing the wire and not the swivel, as you can see there. I'm just gonna take my thumb and I'm gonna push it. And I wanna make this angle here. So for the first part, I twist it 7 times. So I wrap them together. You don't wanna wrap one around the other, you wanna wrap them around each other. So just gonna take it and twist it, and then I give it a little snug push. There's 2. 3, and I'm just making sure I keep this angle here while I'm twisting, because I want to twist them together. 4. So you're gonna be twisting your tag end around the wire that's gonna be left, and you want to make these tight. All right. Well, on this one here, I kind of messed up, but this is another one that I did. So you can kind of see I twisted it around itself in the first portion of it, right here. So I did that 7 times, and then I come back through 5 times and wrap your tag end over and around here. So then you take this here. You want to take your tag in, you want to bend it even so it looks like that, and then bend it even again. And then the idea is to use this as a crank and twist it until it snaps off, and then snaps off. So you guys can kind of see here, here's our swivel. We went around the wire around itself 7 times, and then you come back and you do your tag end around your main stem here. Do that 5 times, and then you make yourself a crank and you twist it until it snaps off. All right, now we got our hook here. I think this is a 7/0 hook. I just use smaller chunks of bait when I'm casting close. That way if there's like a smaller black tip or bonnet head or something like that, we can try to catch him. 7 times around itself. And then 5 times around your main portion. Then we're gonna make a handle. And the closer you make this handle to your haywire, the easier it is to break it. And the reason I make the handle instead of just cutting it, which you're more than welcome to cut it yourself, but by doing this handle, you actually make it to where there's no burrs left over, so you won't cut your fingers, or if you slip your hand across it. Whereas if you cut it, you get a tiny tag in that's really sharp. You ended up sticking it in your finger or something like that. We all know that's not fun. And it popped off. And I know this doesn't look too pretty. I did just do this one really quick. It usually takes me about 1 to make it look really good, but this is kind of the idea. I'll show you one here that I made. This is gonna be for red snapper if I decide to use metal. So there you can see that one's actually done a whole lot better. Same thing with this side, a whole lot better. But as far as shark fishing goes, I'd run this guy here, and then over here I'd probably put 100-pound mono, which I don't have any, so I do apologize for that. I'd probably put 100-pound mono here to another swivel a little bit further up, and then I'd put a weight of some sort on the line, or since these are smaller rigs, I can just set this in my tackle box. As long as this is, I'd probably take one of those snap swivel things for weights that goes on your line, swings back and forth, and then it hangs down. You just snap it or unsnap it and put whatever weight you want on it. That way you can put lighter weight if you want when the surf isn't too bad. But so that's it for those two. Those are what I use for shark. Alright guys, so I hope that helped you out. If you guys got any comments or concerns, leave them down below. If you guys enjoyed that content and it helps you out, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, check out some of my other content. I have a shark fishing video, nothing huge, but there's just my first couple of sharks that I caught. I got some other stuff from here in Pensacola. Go ahead and check them out. And if you do like my content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. But until next week, tight lines.